So let's look again at ink usage of the Pro300 and the P700. Well, hello and welcome to this video with me, Tim Jones. Today what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be doing part 2 of my experiments, I suppose, into the ink usage between these two printers, these two A3 Plus printers, the P300 from Canon and the P700 from Epson. Now, in the first video, I called it "This is Controversial" because it was. There were certain things and certain results that, to be honest, surprised me. So thank you for all your comments. And I wanted to do another video, a part 2 almost, kind of actually looking and answering some of those comments to kind of explore this a little bit more. Because as I said in my first video, and if you haven't watched it, I'll put a link in the description below. In my first video, I found that the Canon used substantially more ink in terms of grams. Now, as I said in that video, I didn't think that was quite right. There was something going on. I didn't know if taking the cartridges out, weighing them, putting them back in had caused a cleaning cycle or something that it didn't on the Epson. So I wanted to explore this a little bit more. And it seems, as the comments, all of you out there wanted to do that as well. So what I wanted to do was take a few of your comments as well. And it seemed to be, and I've replied to quite a few of them actually, it seemed to be that the general kind of feeling was I should have printed more prints. And I completely agree. My plan was always to do a second part. And hopefully that first video was almost there to entice you and kind of start a bit of debate around these printers and which one kind of uses more ink and things. So I have taken a lot of your suggestions and I have run some more tests. Now, what I've done is it seemed to be that a lot of people in the comments were saying that to weigh the cartridges out of both the machines and then run, say, 10 prints on each one, which is what I've done to kind of get a good average of what was happening. So I've run 10 prints on each printer, one after the other, without stopping, no ink changes, absolutely nothing, ran them straight. And then I've weighed the cartridges at the end. And I think we've got a better idea of what's happening, and to be honest, a bit of a closer result as well. There was that massive discrepancy of like 4 grams. I mean, the Epson was using 1 gram to print a sheet of A3, whereas the Canon was using 5. And there was that massive discrepancy in the first video. So I hope now what we've done is kind of taken that discrepancy away a little bit and addressed those issues. And like I said in the first video, it wasn't very scientific, but hopefully by doing some more tests like I have, and maybe there'll be a part 3 to this. So please, if there's anything you want to see, pop it in the comments as well. See if we can get some better results. However, I think the results are a little bit better and a little bit more of what I would expect. Now, the first thing I did notice is when I was running 10 prints off, the Canon did take about twice as long to do these 10 prints as the Epson. And they're both on the highest quality setting as well. So it was fair in that kind of sense as well. Now I printed on a matte paper as well because I think that was what I did the first test on and that seemed to work quite well. Now I've got my notepad here in front of me with all the results. So, well, let's start with the Pro300 because the starting weight was 261 grams, and that's for all 10 cartridges weighed on the scales. So then what I did was I ran the 10 prints and I took the cartridges out at the end of that, weighed them, and ended up with 245 grams. So that's a difference of 16 grams, which is a bit more what we should be expecting. So about 1.6 grams per print. How that translates into mil being put on the page is a little bit difficult because, as someone did point out, the ink in these printers could weigh slightly different amounts as well, because Water weighs, this 1 ml of water is roughly 1 gram. However, different liquids like oil and ink and things could have different values, and there is no reason at all why Epson's ink could weigh less than Canon's ink and vice versa and things like that. Maybe that's part 3 of this video, to actually try and weigh a mil of ink from each printer to see if there is actually any difference. If anyone's interested, put it in the comments if you are. I'm more than happy to do it. Okay, so 1.6 grams per print, which is a lot better than the 5 grams per print we were getting in the first video. That is where I would expect it to be honest. Now, let's have a look at the Epson, because this was a little bit interesting. It did go up a little bit with the Epson. It jumped from that 1 gram up to around 1.2 grams. So we started off with 860 grams. And that's all 10 cartridges weighed. Ran the 10 prints on the printer at that quality setting, exactly the same. And I ended up with 848 grams. So a difference of 12 grams. So the Epson is still slightly ahead on actual ink usage. It's putting some less ink down on the page. I mean, print-wise, side by side, I really can't see much difference. I'm looking at them now, and there's not much difference in the prints at all. We've still got that 0.4 of a gram difference between the two printers. So I suppose if you are printing quite a lot, so it could be maybe in part 3 of this, we look at the weight of the inks as well. But I'm a bit happier, to be honest. And I'd imagine Canon are a little bit happier as well, to be honest, when they're looking at this. Epson will still be happy because they're just slightly ahead still on the ink kind of economy statistics. But it's been quite interesting to do that. And I think it was, thank you so much for all your comments and suggestions of how I should run this and things. So I've kind of put them all together and kind of come up with a bit of a kind of hopefully met in the middle of people's comments and suggestions and things. So, okay, they're pretty much the same. There is that slight difference of half a gram or near enough, that 0.4 between the two. So over time, with these 10 prints, if you are running them off one after the other, you are going to be using 4 grams more ink with the Canon. So that soon adds up. It's a small amount only if you're doing 1 print at a time. I'm not sure if we've got that 4 grams built in to that print. It would suggest it could possibly be still doing that clean, that 16 grams and 12 grams, because what I found was with a single print, it was that 4 grams that was causing the problems for us. So that could be they're using the same amount of ink, but it's the fact of that clean when it turns on or something, or when I put the cartridges back in, still causing that problem. However, that is kind of, I'm happy with that difference, that I could probably say they're near enough the same. I think the Epson still just has that slight edge, possibly, but I mean, both fabulous printers and both be absolutely amazing. So hopefully that's put people's minds at rest, and hopefully it's kept everyone a little bit happy and things. But please feel free, be nice in the comments, but please, any suggestions and things, absolutely fine. Like I said, I do read them and I like to act on them as well, and hopefully address some of those and take it to the next level like I have today. So as always, don't forget to subscribe to the Fotospeed YouTube channel. Just click that subscribe button in the bottom right. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the Fotospeed newsletter to keep up to all the lovely news from us here at Fotospeed. And also don't forget to download the Fotospeed Art of Printing, the free ebook from us at Fotospeed, covering everything you need printing wise. So hopefully that's expanded on my first test, and not so controversial in this one, hopefully. So until next Thursday, bye-bye.